Check this out. MGK, Joe Budden, Mac Miller. It's all happening.
Static selector.
Shout out to everyone showing so much love and support to this channel and to this show. For the first time viewers, every couple of weeks we do an episode responding to the dopest comments left by you all. Ian Henry. Ian says, "You have awakened from your slumber, Justin. For real though, I'm glad to see you again. I thought you were gone forever." You're absolutely correct. It's been entirely too long. I've been on a learning spree for the ages. Now, late last year, I joined an incredible company, Empire Distribution, run by incredible people. Shout out to Gazi and Nima and everybody on the home team. This is the first time I've ever been on this side of the industry. When you're in the media, you're on the side of the table that's always asking for stuff. Can I feature your artist? Do you mind coming by for an interview? Can we come cover your award show? Do you mind tweeting this piece I did about how dope the stuff you're doing is? It's totally different. Now I'm on the side of the table that gives artists money, so people treat you differently. I've got a lot to learn. Since the beginning of the year, I've gotten to spend time with dope artists like Mozzie and Dunya and Odie and Melly Mel and Tyga and Molly Brazy and Fiji Macintosh, who's my favorite 17-year-old rapper right now. If you haven't heard of Fiji Macintosh, punch yourself in the face. I also got my first artist signed, Willie Jones. His song Runs in Our Blood was just picked up by the NFL Network, so you'll hear it throughout the season. Look out for that. I also started a series called How I Built My Empire, where we have artists at every level drop the keys to their success. New episodes arrive every Wednesday. You can check those out here and on the Empire channel. Plus, I have a new music show dropping this week. It's all happening. The point is, I realize how imperative it is for me to continue to learn about this industry and this culture that I love. Perspective is most important for people working to contextualize the world around us, and without it, I'm not sure if this channel is even worth watching. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Let's get started. Last week, we dropped a surprise episode called Eminem and Kanye West Damage Control, looking at how both megastars have responded after alienating their audiences. Links in the description. Into the comments. Shout out to Nick Turnquist. Nick says, "Wow, I never heard a thing about that Kanye interview." Not saying that he hasn't made mistakes recently, but the media definitely likes to show the bad of Kanye West a lot more than the good. Thanks for that, Nick. Jesse Turblanche. Sorry, Jesse. Shout out to Jesse. Jesse says, "Justin, so glad you're back with more breakdowns. I think the one thing that helps me through this political climate of extreme polarization is realizing that I may not agree 100% with an artist's political views, but to look past that and appreciate them for who they are as an artist and the content they put out. Everyone is entitled to their opinion and is also entitled to use their platform to push that opinion." Much love, Justin. Bless. Look, it's a tough thing separating the art from the artist. I've grappled quite a bit with this lately. Look, on one hand, just because the person who made the dopeness is terrible, doesn't mean the dopeness is terrible too. On the other hand, the art is a reflection of the artist, so how dope is the dopeness if it comes from a terrible place? Take what Abu Bakr Ali says, for example. A number of you dropped similar comments. He said, "I can't bring myself to listen to any Kanye songs after that slavery comment. To me, it is obvious he's a selfish, self-centered, self-interested, and inconsiderate to history. I hope he never sells a single album ever again." Yeezus. Now, clearly that comment's a representation of everything outside of Kanye West's music. Sometimes it's tough to land on the product when you're distracted by the producer. Key Demo raised an interesting point, which I think resonated with a number of you as well after seeing that WGCI interview. Key says, "Blaming your statements on not having someone handling you is weak. 99% of us don't have a handler. I was okay with Kanye saying what he did. It was very refreshing to see someone go against the social norm in the spotlight. I'm not even a big Kanye fan. On the other hand, I can't give him a pass. Completely sick of his shit, and I was there from the start, and before I get hate, I didn't vote Trump, but I do enjoy watching him make slimy politicians skin crawl. It should. They haven't had any real opposition in decades." I appreciate you, Keith. Thanks for that. Now, by far, the #1 comment was asking me to break down MGK's Rap Devil and to respond to Joe Budden's podcast. Here's the thing I like about MGK's Rap Devil. It's actually a pretty catchy song. Both of us single dads from the Midwest, we can talk about it. That was offbeat, but it's dope and it sticks in your head, which is awesome anytime you're ever making a diss track. You need something that's gonna stick to people's memory. He also shows M a lot of respect. He talks about how he's the greatest rapper alive and how he's in everyone's top 10, then hits him with a slew of personals. For example, MGK has a line where he says, "Last time you saw 8 Mile was at home on a treadmill." The Eminem GOAT piece I did a few years back touched on how M talked about how he replaced his pill addiction for an addiction to running. He said he's running 17 miles a day at one point. Jesus. Couple that with the fact that for a few years, it felt like we rarely saw Eminem anywhere. He wasn't at award shows like that. He wasn't getting busy on IG trolling, which is sad because M's zaniness would excel in this trolled out era. Marshall seemed disconnected from the culture, and MGK was smart to point that out. For Mike the Plug, Rap Devil is a super official diss track that can't be ignored for the simple fact that it's stronger than M's Not Alike, which was in response to the subs MGK threw at him on Tech Nine's No Reason. It's more direct, and if this video of M playing Miss Pac-Man is an indicator, a response is right around the corner. I'm actually happy we haven't had it happen yet. I think this would have been a tough weekend to be distracted by rap beef. We'll get there. Budden's response, on the other hand, was a podcast, so it exists on a different plane. 3 things. Joe Budden is an artist who excels when he's emotional, when he's most in touch with his feelings, just like Eminem. The thing that's interesting about Joe Budden to me is that he also has a number of unceremonious exits from his previous situations. Everyday Struggle, for example. Now we're learning about Shady and everything that was around that. I'm always a little wary to comment on people who put their business situations in the street like that because there's always another side. 2, Joe criticizing the business of Shady Records is really interesting considering Crooked I, who's also in Slaughterhouse, in his reaction to Joe Budden's podcast, said that he got paid while he was on Shady. So right now, Joe feels like the outlier to me. 3, Budden accused Eminem of not having content, which I completely disagree with. We know all about M's family, his daughter, and his addiction. He talks about pills consistently and constantly, which is the saddest trend in America right now. Eminem was actually the first rapper I ever remember talking about pills 20 years ago, and 20 years later, now it's apparently rap's drug of choice. Which brings us to our last comment. Alec Musay says, "You gotta do a video on mental state and depression of rappers, Mac Miller, Kanye, Cudi, SoundCloud rap, etc." Alec, you're absolutely correct. I did a piece a few years ago looking at DMX and mental illness and addiction, but this is a conversation we need to have again, and this Saturday's episode of TBD will touch on that. But before we wrap this video, I do want to take a couple of minutes to talk about a member of our community who passed away this weekend. I wasn't an early listener of Mac Miller. The first time I really dug into his catalog and started paying attention to him was in 2011, right before Blue Slide Park dropped. One of my mentors, Jake Payne, wrote a great piece on young Mac called "The Kids Are Alright, How Mac Miller Finally Earned My Respect." He described Mac as a true student of the culture, not some trendy frat rapper, which were popular at the time. How he was up on his hip-hop history and opened his audience to those who paved the way for all of us. I wouldn't meet Mac for the first time until 2013, just before watching movies with the Sound Off drop, which is still my favorite Mac Miller project to this day. And throughout all of our interactions, I was always impressed by his humor, his quiet confidence, and his passion for music, which showed consistently through his perpetual evolution. He was prolific. He always sounded new and improved every time he showed up. He loved the music he made and the people around him. I'm gonna close this piece with a clip from the first conversation I ever had with Mac Miller. Here he's talking about Tupac and the Beatles and how much he loved the growth both of those acts embodied, which is what I respected most about Mac Miller, the artist. He never failed to push the margins. Rest in power, Easy Mac. As always, thank you guys for watching the show. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. I'm Justin Hunt, and as always, it's all happening.
I just like, and I'm just a fan of Lennon. I like what he represented. I guess I'm saying that I love the growth of like how the Beatles came out. You know, I always look at that as something similar to me. Like, say I'm working on this album and I died before I made it. Wonder if like how it would go down. I was like, oh, I bet everyone would be like, this is fucking crazy album, like Mac Miller's, da-da-da-da. But I can't die yet because I gotta there's a certain place of artistry I need to get to before I die. Well, maybe. But I gotta die in a cool way if I die, like public suicide, like jumping off the Eiffel Tower with a bunch of people watching. That'd be tight. Or if I got murked by a sniper and it was a highly planned assassination with decoys and fucking Russians did it or something, that'd be tight. Not saying I plan on dying anytime soon. But no, I mean, I just think it's kind of like a thing that probably will never be answered. And it's okay to accept the unknown. But I just don't think anyone really knows. Besides maybe like Bill Murray might have it figured out.